Every time we won, it's been a favorite memory of mine. We go around there and it starts raining, and when I say a cloudburst, it was a cloud. It was like a bucket being dumped on you. It wasn't that tough of a loss for me personally, in the sense that we came from behind, and we're in position to win the game. They clearly outplayed us in the first half. I learned something from that game. I learned from Dustin Keller what amped up means. I thought it was a speaker. Amps come through. So many amps come through a speaker when you're listening to music or something. I found out that wasn't what amped up meant. Anyway, when Dustin said, I guess they were, and I think Stanford Kegler both made reference to them being more amped up than we were. I've ordered a lot of sport drink for this week to make darn sure that they're not more amped up than we are. Now, we may have to have portable Johns out there or something for these guys, but by golly, they're not going to be more amped up than we are. But last year, they so clearly outplayed us the first half that I was actually proud of our team in the way that they came back, and actually, in spite of being horribly outplayed the first half, they came back and tied the game and actually had a chance to win it.
And then looking at Indiana, in a lot of ways, their season mirrors yours in terms of the injuries, quarterback injuries, offensive line, everything. Can you talk about them and what you see from them?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that their season's gone the way it has, because, I guess like you say, they've been dealing with the same thing we've been dealing with from an injury point of view. But, I watch them on tape. I think that Curlew is, if that's how you pronounce his name, I want to say that respectfully, because I think he's as good a defensive end as there is in the league. Voting on all Big Ten, we voted him first team all Big Ten. I think their defensive line is extremely talented. I think their linebackers are much improved. Their secondary, it's hard to get a real good read on their secondary because they put so many guys in and out with the injuries that they've dealt with back there. But their front seven is very impressive, and they have some talent in the secondary. I don't know who's going to play against us, quite frankly. And offensively, it just about begins and ends at the quarterback position, and they've been, in and out of that position, and they've dealt with the same thing we have. I don't know if they've had as many injuries to their offensive line as we've had. If they do, I really feel sorry for them, because these are the most I've ever been around, and that's, I think that's where the real skill in the sport of football lies, or that's where the real skill lies. Yes. He'll start his last game unless he's in the infirmary on Saturday. Every time we won, it's been a favorite memory of mine. We've had some good games with them. We've had some close games. We've struggled. We've lost a couple of games to them. But we've had, competitive games for the most part. We've had a couple, quite frankly, I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say we had some blowouts that surprised me, really surprised me. But I think that I have a lot of respect for IU and the IU football program, because I think they truly represent a rivalry game, in that the proverbial throw out the records. But I think for the most part, in this series, that's been true. Even when we've had, I can't recall when it was, maybe our second year, our third year, well, I thought we had a far superior team to them, and we were on the ropes late in the game. And to me, that demonstrates that it truly is a rivalry game.
After you get out of March, what what do you see yourself doing 6 months from now, a year from now? Are you going to be like a Walmart greeter, or are you going to be a... I know you're going to be hunting and fishing.
I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that.
Great chance.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I'll be a Walmart greeter. But, well, I think all three of us were honorary Grand Marshals of the 500 parade that year. And I think they did us alphabetically, so Coach Cameron and his wife rode around the track first, and then Coach Davey and his wife rode around the track second, and Arnett and I rode around the track third. And we got to the third turn, there was a cloud burst, and the rain came down, and I think we were baptized at that time, and we saw the light, and it made for us, you know what I'll never forget about that? This poor lady. We were in these classic Corvettes, I mean from the 60s, and this lady who owned this Corvette was telling us about the car and how long she'd owned it, and it was a 60-something, I don't recall what it was, but it's an absolutely gorgeous car. And we go around there, and it starts raining, and when I say a cloud burst, it was a cloud. It was like a bucket being dumped on you, and she's driving, and she doesn't say, "You guys all right?" or what she says, "Oh no." She just says, "Oh no," about 30 times before we get around the other side. When we get around the other side, we open the doors to get out, and water comes out because it's about that deep in her car, and she said, "I'll never do this again." And I thought, I hope this doesn't indicate how we're going to get off as coaches, you know, how well we're going to do. But I think the biggest difference in us and perhaps Coach Cameron and Coach Davey is we were able to come to Purdue with a staff intact. And we didn't have to learn about each other's strengths and weaknesses. We didn't have to learn about our philosophy. You know, we didn't have to feel our way along. You know, it's a trial and error situation when you move into a totally new environment. You're not, you know, and some things we just steamrolled ahead without paying too much attention to the details around here at Purdue, and we got corrected on a few things, but we just hit the ground running.